Why do I need to be rapid fire? Just talk about it. Just talk about our feelings here. Not our feelings. Our feelings on Glossier. Okay, not our feelings. We can talk about our feelings on Glossier. We are gonna. Okay. How will Glossier perform on the olds? We're here to take a look. Stay tuned because we are doing a deep dive investigation into these Glossier products and how they perform on my 51-year-old skin. And should you, as an older person, give Glossier a look? Today, we are going to take a look at Glossier. As a brand, when I think of Glossier, I think of it being targeted to younger people, from the packaging to the look of the website, to the models on the website, to the product names and colors. Everything about this brand to me screams youths. Does not at all, to me, look like a brand targeted to a middle-aged person. Right. It's very youth driven. I remember trying Glossier years ago and really being impressed with the products. So I wanted to revisit it as an old. Will Glossier perform on an old? I'm going to try all of these products. We are going to do a full face. We are about to cut away to a 51-year-old face with no makeup. Do not be alarmed. It will all come together in the end. You'll see. So let's get into it. I didn't get the Future Dew. I have the RMS ReEvolve Radiance Locking Primer, and it's very similar to the Future Dew, both in texture and color. The Future Dew is a little bit more peachy, but I'm just going to use this because I have it, and to me, it feels quite similar to the Future Dew. The Future Dew is a little more oily. So now that we are glowy, I'm going to let it kind of sink in before I go in with foundation. This is the Perfecting Skin Tint. It has been around forever. I have had this in the past. I've used it before. I went through an entire bottle of it. It's been years since I've tried this. I'm pretty impressed by how it works on more mature skin. So I'll show you. I have the shade G11. It's the second to the lightest shade. However, these are so incredibly sheer that I don't think it makes a huge difference really what shade you get, right? Like, I mean, you want to be somewhere in the vicinity, but I don't think it's super important. This is shade G11. It's described as a light neutral. I just like to go in with my fingers. So that is one layer of the foundation. And while it doesn't offer a lot of coverage, it does do some blurring and, it does something. The good thing about it is, since it is so thin, is that it is buildable. So I am going to do a second layer. I'm using a very small amount and I'm just kind of patting that all over the face. This foundation is never going to reach full coverage. That's just not what it's designed for. It's a barely there skin tint. In fact, it is probably the sheerest complexion product that I have ever used. Having said that, I still like it. It is undetectable on the skin, which makes sense, right? It's super sheer. You can't see that I have anything on the skin. That is where this product shines. It does give you some evening out. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer. This has been a popular product for quite some time. It's not a high coverage concealer, but it is very versatile. You can use it kind of all over the face. I've seen people use this as an all over complexion product and just as a concealer. You can do so much with it. I'm going to take it on a concealer brush and put it in places where I want a little bit more coverage, because the skin tint just doesn't do much. I like the skin tint, but it doesn't really cover anything. I go in with the concealer in the areas where I have redness, and that for me is right around the nose. I'm going to go around the corners of my mouth a little bit. As you get older, this area kind of sinks in and you get shadows there anyway. I'm going to go under my eyes, around the eyes. And this concealer, it is called a stretch concealer, and it does kind of stretch and move with your skin. So you can see the difference there with concealer and without. So it does give you some coverage. I'm going to go on my eyelids too, just to cover up any discoloration. Most of what I try to correct for in my complexion personally is redness and discoloration. My face has a lot more redness than the rest of my body. That is the concealer and skin tint done. It has evened out my complexion. I am totally comfortable with this level of coverage. The concealer just kind of evened out what the skin tint did not. I'm happy with the way that this looks. I am going to go ahead and do my eyebrows. I am using the Glossier Boy Brow Arch in the shade Cool Brown. I really like the color of this eyebrow pencil. It is a cool brown. Most eyebrow pencils I have found are very warm, and when you put them up against the coolness of my actual hair color, it stands out. But this is pretty much a perfect shade match for my brows. So this is Boy Brow. This has been around forever. It is one of their most popular products, and I think it started the fluffy brow movement. It was the original fluffy brow product. Boy Brow, a classic. It's a hit to me. It's always been a hit. I've purchased Boy Brow several times throughout the years, and I'm always happy with it. I am going to go ahead and set my face with the Glossier Wowder. I have the shade G11 to G12. The Glossier Wowder is really a nice product. I just spilled powder everywhere. It's fine. I feel like if I don't spill powder, then am I even making a video? No. I have to spill powder. It's just who I am as a person. It's everywhere. Can you see it floating in the air? It's all over my phone, all over my desk. I have so much of it. Let's just put more on. My gosh. Okay, well, that was a disaster. This is the Wowder on my face. It does a really nice job of setting the face, but not making you super matte or dry. So I do like the Wowder. It's a nice powder. Wow. I do like the Wowder. It's a nice powder. Okay, the Glossier Cloud Paint. I'm going to use this as a bronzer. The shade Sail. This is a beautiful shade. This is a beautiful product. The cloud paints are classic Glossier. They don't disappoint. Like, they're very nice products. They're really kind of like a gel versus a cream. This is the shade Sail. And it's a very neutral bronzer slash contour shade. I'm just going to use what I have on my hand. I'm going to go in with my rosing brush. Beautiful shade for light skin tones, and they do have several other shades that would work for deeper skin tones as well. I am very happy to have found like a neutral bronzer shade. For blush, I have the shade Puff. This is the shade Puff. It's like a light, warm pink. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade. So the nice thing about the cloud paints is that they do set down. They're very easy to work with. They do set down. They last all day, multiple shades, and it's a great formula. I love the packaging of these. It looks like art supplies. Like they look like, paints. They are called cloud paints like that. I think that's super cute. Moving on to eyeshadow, I have the Monochrome eyeshadow palette in the shade Clay. I did not realize how red this was going to be when I ordered it. It's very warm toned. It's very pretty, but it's just a little more intense than I thought. I have owned a couple of shades in the past. I had Jute Antique, and Antique, not antique, but Antique. Teak is a stunning collection of eyeshadows. That is a fantastic one and done little trio. I kind of like the idea of monochromes. I think Glossier was a little bit ahead of their time with these. I think that when they came out, people were kind of disappointed. However, I think we're kind of leaning more into the monochromatic look. I'm going to try to put together an eye look and have it not be too intense. I might have to go in with like a topper shade or something to tone it down because these are pretty intense shades on me, but they're really pretty. The matte in here blends out beautifully. I'm going to take a clean brush and just kind of buff that out. It's pretty intense. I mean, it's pretty. It's pretty and pretty intense. I'm going to take the shimmer shade in the palette and just put it in the outer corner. There is some difference in the depths of these, even though they are the same shade. I'm going to take that under the lash line. Now I am going to go in with the metallic in the palette, and I'm going to put that all over the lid and hope that it doesn't take this look just a little bit too far. The metallic shade in here is very, very intense. I don't have an inner corner highlight, so I'm just going to go in with a highlight shade from the Hourglass palette, pop that on my inner corners. And this highlight shade, it's not much lighter than my skin tone, if at all. It does give just a little bit of brightness there in the inner corners. I'm going to leave the eyes there for now. We're going to go into lips. I am going to use the Glossier Lip Liner in, what is the shade that I have? The shade that I have is Bit. If you've watched any of my videos at all, you are not going to be surprised by this color. I feel like I am just always drawn to this specific shade of lip liner in any brand, any formula. One of these days, I'm going to pull them all out and swatch them together and see if my intuition is correct, that they are all the same shade or a variation of the same shade. I'm going to line my lips. So I am just going slightly above my lip line. This is the Glossier Ultralip in the shade Pony. This shade is so pretty. These are sheer lipstick colors. You can see it right next to the lip liner there. And I really like sheer lip colors. I think they're just easier to wear. They're easier to throw on. They're much lower maintenance. It has a nice shine. You don't need a lip gloss. Lipstick is done. Now that I have the lips done, I think I'll be less inclined to go overboard on the eyes. I am going to go in with the #1 pencil. This is the eyeliner. I have the shade Frame. It is a dark, cool tone brown. This is a really nice shade for defining the eyes without going into black. It's a very creamy formula. I am going to tightline, so I'm sorry. Sorry that you have to see this. Probably just cut that out. So I'm just putting a little bit of that like on the outer third of my eyelid, and I'm smudging it out and extending it just a touch. Just where it looks like a shadow, like a soft little wing. Soft, smoky little wing. I'm not actually drawing a wing. I'm just pulling the eyeliner out with this little tiny flat, pointy, angled brush. They're not perfectly even, but my eyes aren't perfectly even, so it's totally fine. Oh my gosh, we've done it. We've done a full face, minus this. The very last product that I have is the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara. This is a tubing mascara. I have used this off and on for years. I really like it. It's a very kind of a natural look. I'm hoping it's going to be enough with this kind of more dramatic eye look that I've got going on today. We'll see. We'll see. It has the brush that I really like. I really like short bristles like this. I just feel like they do a great job at lifting and separating and kind of curling my lashes. It's not like an instantly volumizing mascara. You kind of have to work for it. I'm working for it. It's fine. Mascara is done, and that completes this full face of Glossier Cosmetics for old people. All right, so Glossier Cosmetics on mature skin. What do I think of Glossier? We're just going to go through each of the products individually, starting with the Skin Tint. This is kind of an iconic product. I feel like this was a product that was ahead of its time. It was not a product that I think was fully appreciated at the time. In certain circles it was, right? It was kind of a niche product. Now everybody has a skin tint, and this one is still there, still stands the test of time. Now, Glossier did release a foundation. I wasn't interested in the foundation because, I don't know, it's like everybody has a foundation, but not everybody has a semi-sheer, barely there, totally imperceptible skin tint. This is the product that I went with because this is, to me, Glossier. And I have to say, it's really, really pretty on the skin. You can use this on a no makeup day and nobody would know that you had anything on, right? A lot of times with no makeup, you put on one product, you can see it. And so then you're like, now I kind of have to do a lot more makeup on my no makeup day. You really could just put this on and walk out the door and nobody would be able to tell that you had anything at all on your face. I will continue to use that, and I also think it's great for mature skin because it is so thin and so barely there that it does not crease. It doesn't really enhance any texture. Anything that you don't want to enhance, it's not going to, because it's so thin, so imperceptible on the skin. And it's not super expensive. Glossier products are reasonably priced. And this is a tiny, I mean, it's a tiny package, but you do get one full fluid ounce. If you have mature skin, I don't think that this is going to do anything negative to your face when you put it on. You know, sometimes some foundations, you put them on and they make you look older. That doesn't. It's a win in my book. The Glossier Stretch Concealer, this is very sheer for a concealer, so it's hard to recommend as a concealer product because it doesn't do much in the way of concealing. It almost has the coverage of a foundation product, not a concealer. But having said that, it is really pretty on the skin. The way that it sits on the skin, it feels very moisturizing, very nourishing. It doesn't feel dry at all or cakey, and it does a great job with the skin tint of just giving you the coverage just where you need it. It still allows your skin to show through while being undetectable on the skin as makeup. If that sounds like something that interests you, I recommend taking a look at this. They have expanded their shade range, so they have more shades now than they used to when I first tried this product. When I first tried this product, it was something that I felt like was ahead of its time, like a sheer concealer. Who wants that? Now I want that. That's the shade right there. So that is the shade Light 2. I think it's a very versatile product. You can use it all over the complexion, or you can use it, you know, as a very, very light coverage concealer, a very no makeup concealer. This kind of gives you the coverage of maybe like the Victoria Beckham concealer. Very light, very natural looking, does not age you. If those things interest you, I think it's worth a look. I don't think it does much in the way of concealing, the way that you think of a concealer. It's in a glass pot, so, you know, it's a nice product. Next, the Wowder, and this is messy because it spilled everywhere earlier. I don't know if you can see it floating around, but I really like the Wowder. It does a great job at setting the face, but not making you look super matte. It doesn't offer anything in the way of coverage on the face. It's just more of a texture, more of like setting your foundation and slightly blurring your pores. It doesn't make you look super dry. So as a more mature skinned person, I appreciate that, right? I'm always on the lookout for powders that set the face and blur the skin without making you look dry or cakey. I really like the Wowder. And again, the price on it is good. The Cloud Paint in Sale, I think, is a beautiful bronzer slash contour. It's really, for me, it's more of a bronzer. It's not, I wouldn't consider it a contour shade. These are so easy to use. I mean, it is kind of a pain to like have to squeeze something out on your hand and then put a brush in it. It takes you 3 extra seconds. It blends out beautifully, it sets, and it lasts. And then the Cloud Paint in Puff, I really like this shade. I'm glad that I got it. This is my first time trying Puff. You have to go through the extra step of squeezing it out onto your hand, but it does set down and last all day. It's a really good blush still. I know that these have been around forever, but I do think that they're worth revisiting if you haven't, or visiting if you have never tried Glossier. I do think that these products are great. They're a very, almost like a gel consistency. They feel very wet when they go on, and it feels like it's not going to dry, right? But it does. It sets down. It's there. You don't have to worry about it. I think that those are great. They're $22 each. The pricing on this entire range is great. The brow products, this brow pencil is so good. This is something that I had not tried before. The pencil is so teeny, teeny, tiny, and it's kind of like got a flat broad side and then a really, really sharp tiny. Turn it both ways to get tiny hairs or maybe fill in a larger area. It's a very precise little pencil, and the color is fantastic. It's a cool brown. You do have a spoolie on the other end. I'm super surprised by this. Like the shape of it, the color, it's creamy, but not too creamy, and it lasts all day. Boy Brow is an iconic product. It was a leader in the industry for this type of fluffy brow product, and it still holds up today against all of the other similar products. I had been without this for a long time and just moved on. I had forgotten about how good Boy Brow is. And the color dark brown is perfect for my brows. It does offer hold, and it also offers volume. It kind of fluffs them up a little bit. I absolutely recommend this for more mature people. It gives you the look of having more brows. Sometimes as we age, our brows thin out. We need the look of fluffier brows. I have pretty intense brows. I still really appreciate Boy Brow for the hold that it offers and the look that it gives my eyebrows. The Glossier lip line, I'm not too hard to please with lip liners, if I'm being 100% honest. It's very rare that a lip liner formula will disappoint me. The main things that I look for in a lip liner are shade. I need to be drawn to the color, and then I need it to last, especially on the lip line. This ticks all the boxes for what I require in a lip liner and more. It goes on so creamy, so smooth. It's so easy to work with. There's no dragging, no pull, no dryness, no skipping and building up on the lips in a weird way. You have a little bit of time to blend it out if you want to, and then it sets down and it lasts. The Glossier Ultralip, oh my gosh, this is great. This is such a nice product, and the color in Pony is so pretty. It's like a combination between a lip balm, a lip gloss, and a lipstick, right? Like it gives you enough color that it's got the lipstick element. It's shiny like a lip gloss, and it's so comforting and nourishing feeling like a lip balm. I do want to mention the packaging. It does not feel in the slightest bit luxurious, but this is not a luxury line. The packaging in a lot of these products, it feels kind of in line with the price point, right? It's not a luxury line. It's a line that is marketed toward, I think, a younger market. The eyeshadows, on the other hand, they kind of do feel, the packaging does feel a little bit more luxurious. It's heavy. This is a metal tin. It is refillable. You can pop this out and get a refill. You can get a different shade if you want. You never have to buy a full eyeshadow again after you have one if you don't want to. You can just keep replacing the pans in it. The eyeshadows themselves are really nice. The matte is so creamy and so pigmented. The shimmer shade is also incredibly pigmented, and it's a little bit deeper than the matte shade. And the sheen on it is stunning. And then the metallic is really metallic. This is the matte on the top. This is the shimmer in the middle, and this is the metallic. Really pretty eyeshadows. These eyeshadows surprise me. Now, this is not my first time owning the Glossier eyeshadows. I have had a couple of different shades in the past, and it's the same thing. I'm very surprised by them. I think it's because their other eye products are so sheer, so barely there, basically like the skin tint in eyeshadow formula. I was not impressed with their liquid shadows. The monochromes, they're very pigmented, very creamy. They're kind of special. I think they're a really good eyeshadow formula. I think, again, when these released, they were a little bit ahead of their time. I think that some people were disappointed. How do you get a full eye look out of, 3 shades of the same color? The monochromatic look is so beautiful and so very, I don't want to say trendy, because trends don't matter. They don't matter. Don't let trends dictate what you do with your face. They're easy to wear. It's easy to come up with a beautiful, simple eye look, and they pack a lot of punch. They're very smoothing on the eyes. They don't accentuate, any crepiness or texture on the eyes. I do recommend the eyeshadows, especially if they have a color story that speaks to you. Now, moving on to the eyeliner. This is, a standard eyeliner pencil, but it is really creamy. It wears really well. It's easy to work with. You have time to blend it out, smoke it out, smudge it out, do whatever you want. It sets down and it stays on the waterline or the eyelid. I don't think you can go wrong with the eyeliner. What is happening? What is happening here? I'm so impressed with Glossier. And the last Glossier product that I'm going to talk about is the Lash Slick. It's not my first time using this or owning it. I've probably gone through 2 or 3 tubes of these over the years. It's a great mascara for an everyday look. It's not super dramatic, but it is there, right? It does do something. And because it is a tubing formula, it does not flake or smudge. It stays on your lashes all day until you wash your face and take it off. And it holds the lashes up. It offers some lift, some definition, some length. It's not the most volumizing formula, but it's also not nothing. Right? It is not my favorite mascara because I have terrible lashes. So I always like a dramatic mascara, even for every day, because that is the only way that you can see that I have eyelashes. It is not my favorite mascara, but it is not a disappointment, if that makes sense. So that concludes this full face Glossier. I hope that it was in some way helpful to see how Glossier products perform on more mature skin. I am very happy with everything that I own from Glossier, surprisingly so. Like I said, I have worn Glossier products in the past. It's been a while since I revisited the brand, and I'm glad that I did. I think I might have some new favorites here. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I will see you in my next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye. I feel like that was good, guys. Like, am I going to watch it back and be super like, oh my God, what have you done? That was the worst video of all time. No, no. No, I feel like that went well. That went well. That went well. I've never tried a Glossier fragrance, and I have this little sample. So I wanted to squirt it on and tell you my squirt it on. I wanted to put it on and tell you my impressions of it. I'm pressing. Nothing is happening. Wait. Oh. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to squirt that on and squirt. Why do I do this? I don't know why I'm like this. Oh, I think I broke it. I am. I put this on and it smells nice. But am I going to rush out and purchase it? No, I'm not a big fragrance person. I know that like the trend is moving towards fragrance and fragrance people. I'm never trendy. What am I trying to say here? And why can't I say it? Love me or love me. Just kidding.